All right, Brother Yahcanon here to teach another lesson on the scriptures. Um, I read out of the King James Gideon's edition of the Bible. One reason I read that edition because this is one edition that still has the name of Yah in it. You can find it in Psalm 68:4, Isaiah 12:2, Isaiah 26:4, and Isaiah 38:11. It's only in there four times. Every other place has been removed. So today's lesson is going to be over why I don't celebrate Christmas, okay? And like 99.9% of us who call ourselves Christians, we have never, we don't really sit down and read these scriptures for ourselves. We just go off of what I've been told. And me, I have read very well. This is one of my Bibles. I've done, three of them like this so far in my lifetime. I read them so much, work in them, break them down to the point where they just, they become nothing almost. So, you know, this is a fresh one. You know what I'm saying? Getting ready to start acting a fool with this bad boy. All right. So this is the scripture I came across. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 through 5. It says, "Hear the word which Yah speaks to you, O house of Israel. For thus says Yah, do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the Gentiles are dismayed at them. For the customs of the peoples are futile. For one cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. They are upright like a palm tree, and they cannot speak. They must be carried because they cannot go by themselves. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor can they do any good." So when I first read this verse, it kind of jumped out at me like this sound like Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So I go into my prayer closet, and I pray about it and ask for some kind of knowledge on the situation. And it's okay to pray to God and ask for knowledge. We were told that you can't question God and this and that and all that. That is totally not true. It is all right to ask questions if you want to know the truth about things. So after, I pray about it, some time go on. And it took me years to get this stuff. Man, I'm giving y'all this stuff that it took me years to get, trying to cram it into a matter of 15 minutes. You feel me? This stuff is deep, so y'all just bear with me, man. So I go into my prayer closet and, ask for the knowledge because we're trying to be, I wanted to be a righteous person. In order to be what's righteous, you have to know what's right to do and what's not right to do. And I know, the people who educated me, the culture that we were given, that they didn't give me the right knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Common sense will tell you that. People ain't gonna murder you and rape you and sell you off and this and that and then turn around and teach you what's right. Man, get real. Wake up. So the knowledge began to come. So I found out about somebody named Horus, Horus. Horus was born on December 25th. Horus had a virgin mother. It was a virgin birth. Horus had 12 disciples, was the light of the world, this and that, all the characteristics of Jesus. So I was like, wow, what the hell going on? What is this? So as I began to dig off into the story of Horus, it was a story about the sun in the sky. So on December 22nd, the sun, as the months go on and we get closer to December, the sun is in the air less and less every day. It has a certain peak and then it starts to be in the air less and less every day. So on December 22nd, the sun in the sky appears to go and sit on a constellation in the sky called the Southern Crux for 3 days, December 22nd, 23rd, 24th. On December 25th, there is another constellation in the sky called the Three Wise Men that actually lines up with the Sirius star, the Eastern Star, they called it. And the sun rises up 1 degree and starts to be in the air more and more each day. And so people celebrated it because they saw how important the sun was to the crops and this and that and all that. Okay, so boom, I get that piece of knowledge. Okay, so I quit celebrating Christmas. You know what I'm saying? That was it for me. I wasn't finna be celebrating no sun in the sky coming up, giving more light to the world. There's no December 25th anywhere in the New Testament, that says something about Jesus' birthday. Jesus didn't celebrate his own birthday. Just didn't happen like that. And so that's basically where that story came from. The son died on the cross, and after 3 days was born again. So let's go back to the scripture, Jeremiah chapter 10. It says, do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Talking to the house of Israel, which is us, the Hebrews, the true children of Israel, who were taken into captivity, who forgot who they were, suffering from spiritual amnesia as it is to this very day, but are now in the time of waking up out of their sleep. So it says, do not learn the ways of the Gentiles. We are not the Gentiles. The people who took us into captivity are the Gentiles. We have been lied to and taught wrong. We were told that we were the Gentiles, and that's just simply not true. So it says, do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Understand from our earlier lesson of what heaven was about. Heaven was where the birds flew. Heaven was where the sun and the moon and the stars hung up in heaven. So there are things going on in the heavens with the sun and the moon and the stars, with the celestial beings. And this tells the children of Israel, do not be dismayed by the signs of heaven, because the Gentiles are dismayed by the signs of heaven. And it goes into talking about the customs of the people are futile and this and that and all that. We were supposed to be worshiping the Most High. We were not supposed to be worshiping what the sun was doing. So as the sun begins to be in the air more and more every day, it gets to a certain point to where it overtakes being in the air more than 50%. So when it gets to that point, we celebrate another holiday that we know that we have absolutely no knowledge about, and we call it Easter. That's why they have sunrise service. So I wrote a poem one time, when I be talking to people, they really don't be, acting like they don't get it. And, so I was trying to entertain information into our people. And one of the things I said in the poem, I said, ancient texts in the wrong hands have now become corrupt. God's only begotten went from S-U-N to S-O-N. Now the whole world's screwed up. Just trying to, anything that I could possibly do to slide some information in that to our people. So this is why I don't celebrate Christmas. Then you had Horus, you had Dionysus, you had a whole bunch of different sun gods, you know what I'm saying, throughout, history, where they changed the name of them. People, came out, gave their presents on this day or whatever the situation was. Let me take you over here to Hosea chapter 6, why I feel that it's very important for us to be obedient as a people, and why I try to do my best to, do what's right. Let's go to Hosea 4:6. We know it very well. Not only am I going to read Hosea 4 and 6, but I'm going to go a little bit farther so we have an understanding of what's going on here. It says, hear the word of Yah, you children of, I said 4 and 6. Excuse me, let me skip down here to 4:6. It says, my people, y'all already know who that's referring to. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Some different Bibles, they say my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's what we used to. Perish or destroyed. All this death surrounding us. in our community, and we be wondering when the hell it come from. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I also will reject you from being priests for me, because you have forgotten the law of your God, of the Most High. I will also forget your children. So this lets us know here that we are so stiff-necked that we reject knowledge. A lot of people don't sit up and watch my videos. You know what I mean? It's a very few remnant of people, that's trying to obtain some knowledge. So it's just sit up and make it so true. It said we will reject. It said you will reject knowledge. So since you reject knowledge, and we don't want to be priests who we were called to be, then the Most High will reject us from being priests without knowledge of who we are, without knowledge of the scriptures, without knowledge of our past rich history, without knowledge of doing what's right. And so because we have forgotten the law of our God, it says, I will also forget your children. And so we wonder why our children are so lost and they go in the ways that they do. It's written down for us. Read it for yourself. But yet we won't read, but yet we continue to carry on in men's traditions of what we have been taught. And I'm just here to do my job, teach you, hoping you edify yourself, hoping you wanna do the right thing. In order to do the right thing, you have to know what's right. Do your own research, do your own studying. Study this stuff. Find out what you're doing. Don't be no robot. Be controlled all the time, all day long. Don't even know why you're saying certain things. Don't know why you're doing what you're doing. You just doing it just because that's the way you've been trained to do things, man. So that's the lesson for today. I don't celebrate Christmas because I know where it comes from. Peace and love.